How are you, Danielle?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm loving what I've seen so far of Turning Red. I did not know that I needed a Pixar film about puberty, but I did. So, how was the concept first pitched to you, and what were the first steps you had to take to prepare yourself for Turning
Yeah,
Red?
great question. Revisit traumatizing middle school. No, the cool thing was about probably it was roughly 4 years ago, we'll say, we had a company meeting where some of the shows that were in development showed a scene from their movie or kind of a pitch about it. And so Domi got up there in front of the company and showed a scene, which is very close to what was in the movie where we first meet May, where she's getting on the bus and she's doing all the stuff at school, playing the flute and like whatever. And I just thought, oh, who is that? That is that character. I love that character. She's so unapologetically dorky. And who is this director? Like, she made Bow. She's brilliant. This is brilliant. Like, I want to work on that film. And then started hearing that like she was really going for kind of a different look for the film, which is really exciting to me as a lighting person and a lover of computer animation about, kind of figuring out a new look. And so when I got on the film, it was really about just trying to immerse myself in what was Domi after, what did she love, what were the references we were going for, and then thinking about how do we even pull that off. And a new look is so hard, and what are we going to do? How are we going to achieve that? And so that was kind of the path.
I love that. Now, I think 2002 is such a specific year, and I did not realize how many references I would be like, yes, that was my life. So how did that influence, the choices that you made on like the visual effect or the design side of things to be set in such a specific time period?
Yeah, I think it helps in some ways because you can find reference and know exactly what you're going for, say, but 2002 is not as clear an era as, say, like the 70s or 80s have such sort of clear visuals or color palettes to them. And so, and in 2002, I was just working at Pixar making movies. So it wasn't a clear time period for me where, for like Domi or Rona, that was when they were middle school, which I very clearly remember my middle school years. So, but like one of the fun things was like one of the artists in our art department was working on some sketches for Toronto as we're trying to figure out how to bring Toronto to life in this world and in this style. And he's on Google Earth going down streets, looking at different things that make it Toronto and whatever. And he's in art review and he's showing something and it has, I think it was like parking meters. And someone is like, but is that what parking meters would look like in 2002? Because parking meters have actually changed, right? And so it was this very funny thing of like trying to remember like, okay, what is 2002? So I don't know that it's so much changed things I was doing, but it was more like just trying to make sure that we were kind of being authentic to the time period because it was such a specific time period because it was when Domi was 13. So yeah.
I see. Speaking of Domi, what was that collaboration process like from the start? And how do you think that your, I guess, interactions or relationship, not just with Domi, but with the whole team grew over the course of the film?
Yeah. Domi she's really a brilliant mind, and she's very decisive about things in a fantastic way where, if you have a director who's sort of like, well, I don't know, could I see more? Maybe this, you can spend a lot of time and spin your wheels a lot. She's much more decisive than that. And if she doesn't have a clear kind of answer, she would ask her sort of trusted people. Rona was a great proxy for her because they're so on the same page, and that just makes life a lot easier. In terms of the crew, I think we managed to pull together a group of supervisors that were very excited about making a new look. And we were able to kind of bring everyone together despite pandemic. Before pandemic, we got together a small group doing looks development. So they all bonded. We got a really collaborative thing going and tried really, really hard to foster that, knowing that a new look, really, you had to bring your A game. Everybody had to be talking. And I think I'm really proud of the crew because despite being at home over Zoom, found this really collaborative, wonderful place to create the film.
Oh, that's great. Now, the Red Panda is obviously a very new look for for the film and for Mei Lee. So what were how did you guys have to approach that, and what research did you have to do, maybe to like, obviously it can't look necessarily realistic, but also it has to be like believably Mei Lee. So like what choices you have to make there?
Yeah. The first thing was to go to the San Francisco Zoo and look at red pandas, and then imagine if they were 8 feet tall, what they would do. And then if they were animated and in this world and chunky cute, what would they be? And so there are a lot of design decisions for sure. There was Domi starts drawing storyboards. She comes from story. That's how she's sort of conveying things. And she's drawing them with a lot of things that sort of show up in anime with the cat mouth that Patty and Aaron made reference to, and a bean mouth that's sort of shaped like a bean. And then these teeny tiny mouth, and then this giant mouth. And she's super expressive in the manifestation of this 13-year-old girl's emotions. And so, she has to do all this big acting. And so that we knew she was going to be really a big challenge, and that she was going to need some different technology. And we're going to have to throw those profile movers that I mentioned. And that was one of the ways that we kind of tackled that.
Oh, that's so great. Now, of course, it's not just Mei Lee who's going through this time, though she has the largest change probably, but all of her friend group are, growing up at the same time. So what was it like to kind of like differentiate each girl in her own world? And also, which of the best friend posse do you relate to most?
That group of girls is so amazing because they're so different, but you totally believe they're friends somehow, but they're all really unique. I'm so charmed by them. And that's some of the magic of Domi, honestly. So they were really fun to bring to life. I think one of the things that really, like, they have completely their own personalities. They're, a lot of time was a lot of thought and time was put into figuring out how to make them different, but they're all like a little dorky. They all, feel like they would be friends. I think one of the things is that they each have their own color palette. That Rona spent a lot of time thinking about color on this film. It was a big, very consciously chosen. And I somehow that for me is kind of like the icing on the cake with them, of really differentiating them on this last sort of visual level. In terms of which one I relate to the most, probably Miriam, I guess. I relate to May a lot, but if we're picking from those three, I might pick Miriam.
Oh, Miriam is excellent. That's a good, excellent choice. Now, aside from the transformation, which of course has a lot of thought that has to go into it, what was the most surprising aspect from your perspective as visual effects supervisor? What was either most challenging for you, or like that had you doing the most new things?
Yeah. There was, it's so hard because everything goes back to trying to make this new look.
Right.
Because it's so hard, and it's in every department. So in every department, we were trying to do something a little bit different, and each of that required a little bit of something to get there, or a lot of something, a lot of thought and experimentation, probably a little less technology wise, but it really, like, that was probably where the most, that's not a specific answer, but it really is. The look was really the thing that was sort of pervasive all the time.
I bet that. So then everything is connected in that way, which is lovely.
Yeah.
Now, finally, if you were going to turn into an animal, what animal in your life do you think you would be the cuddly fuzzy version of?
Oh, the cuddly fuzzy version.
8 foot tall.
The 8 foot cuddly fuzzy version of wow, I don't know. I'm like an elephant? I don't know.
Okay, all right.
Hippo, all right. They seem dangerous, but if you don't take the dangerous out of it, then I think you could be you know what? I don't know.
I love that for question. You. You're thinking like larger than life. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I cannot wait to see the rest of the film, and for everyone to experience Mei Lee's new look.
I love it.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Talk to you.